Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim, how they're pushing the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, and to the hopeful elect out there. This is the brother Hadavyar from the GMS Toronto camp, coming back at you with another one. And I had finished watching this movie last night called Disclosure Day, and I really enjoyed it. It's a very spiritual movie, and I encourage brothers to go watch it, because it's real good, yes, this movie shows, Esau, he's getting ready to, um, unleash his Project Bluebeam, because, without giving too much away, the movie is basically, goes into how how basically, the government, releases, the photos and images of, quote unquote aliens, green men from outer space, and shows the world, but us in this truth, there's no such thing, but besides all that, like I said, but without giving too much away, this movie basically shows us how, the elect are going to be protected, in the time of Jacob's trouble, into the time leading up to Yahweh Shai, revealing himself to this world. The angels are going to be watched over. The Lord is going to guide our steps. And in this, just like we were saying in camp yesterday, with the elder Amoth, he had watched this as well, and he was saying how basically the two main this girl to the right of the screen, and the dude, the dude here to the left, they basically portray the elect in this movie, because because things start happening to them, they don't understand why, and they'll be in certain situations where the government's coming after them, and miracles will happen, and they would find their way out of whatever situation that they're in, and it's a very spiritual movie. And honestly, as I was watching this, I was getting excited. I was getting excited, and it's a faith booster, because we know that this devil, he's gonna come with his wrath. He's gonna come after the prophets, and it's only through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that we are going to be able to to evade what Esau's coming with, because Esau's got the technology, they they got the they got the blueprint in terms of the tech, the heat seeking, the pinpointing your location, they got it all, and you see that in this movie, how you know How Esau could just pinpoint and find everything, you know. And there's no gun, as Esau's army is trying to hunt down these two individuals. um it's by divine, miracles that they're able to get away from them. It was nothing carnal. It was no gun, no type of advanced tech. No, it was straight, a divine miracle. And the elect are going to go through those things. We are going to go through those things. Lord willing, we're of the elect. The Lord is going to make a way for us to endure and to make it out of here. you know so I want to start with Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him. And you see that many times in this movie. You know, um, you know, there's man, there's so many. There's just, like I said, I don't want to give out too much, but there's this one scene where the woman, she's trying to look for the next dude, and she's driving the car, and she just knows where to turn. She drives, and then she stops on her brake, and she's like, no, I gotta go left, and she just goes left. you know and that just reminded me of like Jacob's trouble, when we're on the run, because we're going to be an outcast to society. Everyone's going to be out here getting chipped up, getting tracked, and we're going to have to be on the run. We're going to have to know how to blend in with society, or just totally avoid society, be under the grid. And we don't know how we're going to do it. There's no blueprint in terms of how we're going to be, where there's going to be no blueprint as to where we're going to go, because when all hell breaks loose, we don't even know where we're going to be. We don't know if we're going to be home with our families. We could be at work. We don't know. But that's why we put our hope and trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and we believe that the Spirit will guide us. He will guide us. He's going to guide our steps. Like I said, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? And as things heat up, that's how it's gonna be. When there's all chaos on the streets, when there's looting, rioting, roadblocks, drones in the air, soldiers on the streets. It's through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that we are gonna be able to get through this. It's just that plain and simple. That's why we put we're all in. We put all our hope in the power we serve. And we understand that He controls everything at the end of the day. And there's nothing too small. There's nothing too small, and there's nothing too great for Him. He's the author and the creator of everything. And as long as we serve Him and we fear Him, we believe in Him, then there's nothing for us to fear. We don't need to fear Esau when he comes down with great wrath. We don't need to be in fear when when it seems like our backs are up against the wall. We just have to continue to believe and trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and believe that He's going to make a way, and He will make a way. It is written. These are His words. And his words do not go out void. So, this is something we have to believe in. And Esau shows you shows you these things in the movie. I guarantee you that, majority of people that went and watched that movie, they didn't come out that movie thinking about, about the Lord guiding the elect. They probably just looked at it as okay, the government, is hiding the information about so-called aliens, and that the day is gonna come when it's gonna be revealed. And yes, the day is gonna become when it's revealed, but what's gonna be revealed, people are not gonna be ready for it. When it's revealed, who the Lord is dealing with. When it is revealed that the chariots, the so-called UFOs, are the chariots of the Most High, and that Yahweh Shai is gonna reveal himself to this world. People are not gonna be ready for that. People are not gonna, because everyone is expecting to see some alien looking creatures. No one is expecting to see, so-called men of color, of high stature, with afros, beards. The world is not ready for that. Esau is programming everyone to believe in this alien crap. But that's why this truth is such a blessing, because you can see, we see through the bullshit. We're through the, starting off with our apostles and elders on down, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, we're being taught, righteousness. What is the truth is being revealed unto us. This is Psalms 34:7, and the angel of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, encampeth around them that fear him and delivered them. So, the angels are watching over us, everywhere we go. The angels are watching over the elect. And in this movie, you see that no matter what they try to do against those two main characters, nothing could harm them. And they make this woman, the focal point of the movie. And the guy, he's kind of, he's kind of the backseat of it all. But that's just Hollywood and their bullshit. But we know that the men, that the Lord is dealing with the men first of all. He's only dealing with the men. And it's through his mercy that whatever woman that the Lord chooses to save, is up to him. But the Lord is mainly dealing with his men, because the prophets are men. There's no women out here who are prophets. But besides all that, you see that in this movie where that these two characters are just performing miracles, and they all linked it to like a stone, that they're like some type of relic, or something that they're holding. And we know that there's powers in the stones and all that type of stuff. So it's a very spiritual movie. And it was just, like I said, it was a spiritual booster for myself. Just to remind us that the Lord's gonna be with us. He's got us. The Lord knows those who sincerely believe in Him. And He's gonna watch over us. He's gonna take care of us. People out here living it up now, having their fun, enjoying the summer, partying and bullshitting. But on the day of great wrath and and of doom and all calamity, it's the elect that are gonna stand out. Because of the divine miracles that are gonna be happening, around us. This is 2nd Ezra 16, starting at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall it be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold is in the fire. We're going to be tried. We're being tried now. We're going to be tried even more in the time of Jacob's trouble. But us getting through those many trials, us going through the fire to be purified, it's going to be known who are his chosen. It's going to be known who are his elect. Because only the elect are going to be able to endure such things. Only the elect are going to be able to endure that fire, that chastening, and take it and deal with it and move on. Hear, O ye my beloved, said the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. He's going to deliver us, because things are gonna heat up. Things are gonna get crazy out here. This is nothing. What's going on right now is nothing. It's gonna get real spooky in these streets. When things start to happen. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide. And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, said the Lord power. Let not your sins weigh you down. Let not your iniquities lift up themselves. So, we are not to be afraid. That there's nothing we need to worry about. We don't need to worry. We don't need to worry about how we're going to get through Jacob's trouble. We don't need to worry about how we're going to get through today or tomorrow. All we have to do is continue to serve the Lord with fear and trembling, and believe in him and trust in him, and he will guide us. He will be with us. And every brother can has testimonies that prove that. How the Lord has had mercy upon them, has guided them, has been with them. We all have those testimonies. You got to continue to believe and trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because the times that we're getting into, we're like, even with camp, with this Bill C9 over here in Canada, things are gonna change. We all feel it.